It's posting time. What's up guys, Jason here, aspiring entrepreneur, and in this video we're going to talk about the best time to post on Instagram. Now I encourage you to check out the channel after you watch this because this is just a piece in a larger playlist of Instagram marketing videos. So here specifically we're going to be talking about when to post. Now I'm going to give you the answer that you've probably thought of before, but it's not really the reason you're watching this video, and I promise I will be more specific. But really, the short answer is it depends. Now I know. Nobody, we don't like that. We want specific times. We want specific examples. We don't want to hear just, oh, it depends, test your audience, figure it out on your own, blah, 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 blah. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's dive into some very specific times that you can test and try out for increasing engagement with your posts. And as we move forward, I think it's important to keep in mind the lifespan of your Instagram post, right? Because when you make a blog post, it lasts for years. A YouTube video like this one can last for, 6 months to a year and a half, depending on the content. This is Instagram marketing, so this is only gonna last 6 months, and then everything, is gonna change. I'm just kidding. If it's been 6 months, keep watching. It's still relevant. Okay, I'm joking with you guys. But anywho, and Snapchat, 24 hours, it's gone. So what about an Instagram photo? How long do you think those last? 4 hours, about 4 hours. So in my research, I found that on average 4 hours. Now, right now I'm growing my channel, or not my channel, my account. And I find that things last about 2.5 hours, and then kind of all the engagement drops off, and people's feeds are stuffed with everything else. So with that in mind, what are the best times to post? Well, essentially, we need to take as much advantage of that quick 2 to 4 hour window as possible, which means we need to post when they're looking, because they're not going to come back later and see it. So we have to put it in their face right when your audience is on your app, the app, right? So if they're on the app at 7, you post at 8, out of luck, right? They're not gonna see it the next morning. And that's another reason why it's important to post multiple times a day. So the advice I give people is 2 to 3 times a day. So that's why I'm going to give you 3 to 4 different time slots, and you can kind of figure out what would work best for you. So we have 3 different times, and this is all based on everybody has a job, right? So we don't want to be posting when they're busy with other things. So we have morning, midday, and then evening. And these are all just change them for whatever your time zone is. I'll get into the time zone stuff in a second. So the standard here, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., that's the morning. Then midday, between 11 and 1, you're catching them before lunch, during lunch, after lunch, sometime in that range, right after lunch, that slump, and you're just at your desk and you're like, I'm bored. I don't want to do any more TPS reports. Oh, Instagram, pretty pictures. Ooh, cool. I like Jason's photo, So hopefully my photos are more interesting than TPS reports, office reference for you guys. And then after work from 5 to 7. And these time brackets came from lifewire.com. I put a link to their full blog post. I'm just aggregating some of the data. I went through multiple, and I'm including the 2 that I found to kind of make the most sense. And then another bracket, I'm just going to throw it up here because it's super, super specific. The way they came up with this, I think, is a little contrived. And I think one of the things you have to look out for when looking to figure out what times to post on Instagram is something we used to call curve fitting your data in trading, which is essentially when you look back on how posts performed, you have this bias of when you posted, right? So for those of you who use Buffer or Hootsuite, you know that they're going to tell you your best times to post are the times you're already posting. It's kind of like, well, duh, that's when I'm posting, right? So just take this particular list with a grain of salt, but it was so specific, I just had to include it for you guys. Now, here's my twist on those 2. Again, links to both blog posts below. But here's my twist for those of you who are in the US or those of you who are, dealing with multiple time zones when you're posting. You want to aim for these windows and then adjust based upon the time differences that you're looking at. So here's a chart that I came up with for the US and the time zones here. So I actually have 4 brackets for you guys that I think will work the best. So I'm on Pacific Standard Time right now. So that means my best times would be 6 a.m., 11 a.m., 5 p.m., and 7 p.m. And you can see how those translates. Central is 2 hours ahead, East Coast is 3 hours ahead. And you can see how, even though I'm trying to target different time zones, I'm getting that morning time, I'm getting that midday time, and I'm getting that evening time with each time zone, even though I'm trying to kind of target the same time of day across 3 different hours, right? And so this is something that I encourage you to look at too, particularly if you're not a local-based business. Then think about your entire country or maybe neighboring countries that are going to be interested in your type of content. So sometimes you might switch things up, so you might be posting super late for where you are, but it's going to be a perfect time for someone else across the globe. So just keep in mind that you want to be targeting that morning, that midday, lunch, before lunch, after lunch, somewhere in there, and then the evening or the late night crowd. So those are your four big ones to target, and then you'll just have to adjust where you're posting to trying to get the most time zone overlap, if you will. And of course, you can take all of this with a grain of salt because it just depends, right? I mean, you could do this, you could come back and leave a really nasty comment being like, dude, this was the worst idea ever. Or you could come back and say, hey, thanks, Jason. This was actually a really good idea. So like all good digital marketers, just test, test, test. So I hope you got some value out of this video, and it kind of helps clear up we all know where we're posting Instagram, when to post to Instagram. So if you got some value out of this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, because over on my YouTube channel, I'm going from A to Z and everything in between. I'm putting together an online business from scratch. This Instagram marketing series that I'm doing and the free webinar that I'm offering to you guys, you can check out the link in the description where I go super in-depth on how to use and leverage Instagram to grow your audience and increase sales, is what the webinar and my channel is all about. And Instagram is just a small little piece of that. So I encourage you to subscribe and check out the free webinar. So until the next Instagram video / digital marketing video, whatever's coming next, keep building the business you love. Take care.